Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zamboni. I am an herbalist and astrologer. I am here in New York City for a couple more days. Thank you so much for being here. Let's talk about the astrology of the week ahead. Now, of course, thank you so much to everybody who shouts me out on Venmo or Cash App or PayPal, sends a little tip or something like that. Thank you so much for doing that. You really make this possible for everybody. Thank you for going to thealchemistskitchen.com and using the discount code ZamboniFunk. You can get a 10% discount on anything in store or online. That's helpful for me as well. Thank you for joining my Patreon, where I do a regular series of how to use astrology and the methods of the unseen in order to make our lives more beautiful and flourishing. Thank you to everybody who does that. Thank you for being here. Let's talk about the astrology of the week ahead. So it has really it has been a time. For the last few weeks, we've had this Mercury retrograde, right? Finally, Mercury is going to station direct this week on Tuesday or Wednesday, sort of depending on where you are. Finally, Mercury is going to station direct moving forward now. So this week, we're not going to see a fast moving Mercury, right? On the station means stop, right? You can think about a train station or something like this, right? Or being stationary. So Mercury has been moving backwards for a while, is going to stop and do this turnaround, and it's going to start to move forward again. So we're going to start to get a little bit of forward motion, but really this week is going to be sort of about this about face and turning towards moving forward again. So we're still at this point looking at significations around delays, stopping, turning around, all these kinds of things. But we do sort of start to be able to see some solutions, or, it looks a little bit less like backtracking at this point. It looks a little bit less like we have to do this thing over, or like, oh no, look at this problem that we didn't expect, or something like this, right? This looks a little more like, okay, now we're going to do the thing, and for real this time. And so we get to start to move in this direction. Gemini has been a little bit of a shit show for a little while now. Mercury retrograde has been there. We had some eclipses there and all this. It's been really a lot. This whole situation is happening square to Neptune, which sort of compounds the confusion, which is signified by both eclipses and Mercury retrograde. And so this is a good time to sort of start to move away from that. In addition to that, the sun is going to move into Cancer. Happy birthday to all my Cancer people. What's up, Cancer? I see you, boo. Happy birthday to you. Now that the sun is going to move into Cancer, this is going to sort of shine less of a spotlight on all this confusing stuff that's been happening in Gemini, right? But then also, the sun is going to move into, Jupiter is a very early Pisces, right? And so the sun moving into Cancer is going to make this super nice trine to Jupiter and Pisces. A trine, this is one of our supportive aspects. This is one of the ones that it feels friendly, or that feels like it wants to sort of help each other out, or cooperative, or any of these kinds of things, right? So the sun and Jupiter are going to be in position to help each other. Jupiter especially is going to be in a nice position to be able to help the sun do things. The sun moving into Cancer, this is a nice situation where we're not going to have to deal with a whole lot of problems. Cancer is off axis from the Mars-Saturn situation, which is continuing to build this week, right? We've got Mars has moved into Leo and is going to oppose Saturn in Aquarius. And this is building. This is building and building, right? So we haven't reached the moment where we're going to hit a peak in this, but Mars is in Leo, and so this is building. We're not gonna sort of stop seeing the Mars-Saturn problematic dynamic. This is gonna continue to happen, but we still get to get some solution sort of stuff, or some healing, or some fun, just fun. It doesn't necessarily have to be healing a problem as much as it is just fun for us to experience the sun and Jupiter together. This feels like harmony. This feels like merriment. This feels like going out together and feeling the togetherness, or feeling hopeful, or something like this, right? So Pisces and Cancer are sort of on this week. We've also still got Venus in Cancer at this point, and so Venus is actually going to make a trine to Neptune early in the week. And so this sort of dreamy Neptune, anything and as well as Jupiter in Pisces. Anything is possible. Like, it's super expansive. Like, if you can dream it, you can do it, right? Is the sort of idea with Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. And then Cancer sort of wants to, there's a robustness to Cancer. There's a sense, this is the middle of summer. Or really the beginning of summer. This is the solstice point for the sun in the northern hemisphere. This is a lot of sunshine. This is like really strong sun, and it's and being supported. And the Venus bit here is also being supported. So we've got this Venus wants to feel things, wants to feel good, wants to see how stuff like feels in a kind of visceral way or in an emotional way. And Venus tends to like to make things better. It wants to attract nice things. There's a sweetness to Venus. And so, so for the cardinal stuff, that's going to be Cancer, and anything that makes a hard aspect to Cancer, that's Aries, Libra, and Capricorn. Any placements that are sort of in this area are going to be having a nice little period of time here. The Pisces stuff as well. So, Pisces, it makes a hard aspect to Gemini and Sagittarius, which has been some problematic areas, but even that, starts to feel pretty nice at this point. The real trouble spots are the fixed signs. So if you got stuff in Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, that's where the stuff is really going to be sort of problematic. And again, same way like last week, early on in the week, so we're talking about Sunday and Monday, a little bit into Tuesday, then we've got the moon moving through fixed signs, and those days are those are the ones that are going to be more difficult. But one of the things that's really nice this week is that we're going to have a full moon in Capricorn. And so the moon in Capricorn isn't any of the text's favorite moon, right? The moon is said to be a detriment in Capricorn and all this sort of stuff. But what's really nice about this full moon is that this full moon is not getting fucked up by other stuff. The moon in Capricorn has been in rough shape for like 5 years now. So we had Saturn in Capricorn for 3 years. Last year, Saturn was not in Capricorn when we had the full moon in Capricorn, but that was an eclipse, and all those eclipses were super rough on that cardinal axis and all this, right? This was the beginning of Mars retrograde in Aries as well, and so there was this whole situation, right? But this year we just get to have a regular full moon in Capricorn. We get to have some kind of culminating event for whatever's been going on in Capricorn, but it doesn't need to be all of the drama. It doesn't need to be super confusing. We had been having the South Node in Capricorn, and so there had been a lot of purging. There had been a lot of like getting rid of stuff in whatever area of life that is for you. Maybe that was the 10th house for you if you're Aries rising, for example. Maybe you had to get rid of a job or let go of your public reputation or something like this, right? Now there's a full moon in this area, and it can be, we can just have a little bit of it feels like reflection, right? That's what the moon does, right? The moon reflects the light of the sun. And we get to this culminating moment. It's like sort of the big moment in the lunar cycle. And there's a little bit of sort of like at the peak and looking back over what has been going on for the last, 2 weeks or 6 months, from when we had the new moon in Capricorn as well. That would have been in January. And so or maybe that late December also. But then, so the 6 month cycle and sort of like hitting the peak of that and looking back and seeing how far we've come. And I feel like this is going to be not only the 6 month cycle, but we're going to be able to look back on all of Saturn in Capricorn, which began in 2017. And we're going to be able to look back to how things were in 2016 before the whole drama started to happen in this area of the chart and your life. And then see the progression and be able to look back on that and really reflect on that. And reflect on that from a place that isn't super, there's not a bunch of crisis going on, right? So the moon is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is in this opposition to Mars, and so it's not super easy or anything like that. But we do have the moon, the full moon is super early in the sign, and so we've got this nice trine and sextile aspect. The sun will be trine to Jupiter, and the moon will be sextile to Jupiter in Pisces. And so this feels supportive. It feels nourishing. It feels like help. It feels like tributaries running into the same stream. We've got confluence here. We've got a togetherness, accord, agreement, these kinds of things. And even though the moon is ruled by this Saturn, which is beefing with Mars super hard right now, and we're not, we're in a historical moment where we're not going to be able to get away from the beef, right? We're not going to be able to just not participate in the global conflict which is taking place now, which is not only a wartime conflict, but also the conflict that exists in our houses or in our jobs, in our access to basic resources, all of these kinds of things. We're not going to be able to escape that dynamic. That is an ongoing and continuous dynamic which continues to build this week. But this full moon doesn't have to involve itself in that. This can feel, Capricorn really likes to build things and really likes to sort of, Capricorn is very ambitious, right? And so the structural component here, it feels like it feels like a tripod. It feels like you've got legs to stand on here. And so I'm really excited to stop having terrible transits to Capricorn. This is one of our first ones where it's just not a whole scene in Capricorn, and I'm super excited about that. I'm super pleased that we're getting to move into this sort of situation here. We just had this Mars opposite Pluto on this same axis, and so there has been some drama, and if you have late Capricorn placements, 24 to 26 especially, then you're probably going to get this Pluto situation, and so there's still a whole bunch going on here, right? But I really like this full moon for being able to reflect on how things have been going and see what's what. This especially at the same moment that Mercury is moving forward. Mercury is going to make the station and turn direct and go forward. This at the same time as this reflective full moon moment really feels like a corner turning in some kind of way. Whatever has been going on in either of those two places, and those two places may or may not be able to see each other in your life or in your chart, but whatever is going on and however you're maybe relating to information or data, and whatever your belief systems are that are inherent to that situation, as well as whatever's been going on in Capricorn, whatever sort of conflict or whatever you've had to let go of in the past few years or whatever that is, this really feels like kind of being able to turn a corner on that and see things in a new way. And there's something really begin again about Mercury turning direct. And so I'm really excited about this. I feel like this week, even though we've got the super strong and difficult Mars-Saturn stuff building, and that is, we're not going to get around that. There's going to be some problems. We're going to continue to have to engage with those problems. But even with that, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here to do stuff, to get stuff done, to forge new friendships and come to some kind of accord with community or with surroundings, with land, perhaps. Capricorn being an Earth sign, and there's good potential here. And even though there's also a shit show going on, this feels like it's not only shit show the way that it has been in some previous years. So I'm pretty excited about this, and enjoy the moon, folks. Thank you so much for being here. If this has been helpful for you, if you would send me a little something via Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, if you want to send me a cup of coffee or something like that. This takes a fair amount of coffee to do this work. And I super appreciate you. Everybody who sends me even $1. I see you when you send that $1. I really see you, and that is a great support for me. Just knowing that somebody is really out there and seeing me and doing whatever it is that they can. The same way that I'm out here doing whatever I can, trying to give out all this free content and all this. I really super appreciate everybody who is out there in this community. I've been talking about community and togetherness and accord, and y'all have really supported me, and I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.